Dr. John Campbell recently discovered something extraordinary about the Shroud of Turin. It is an artifact that has fascinated believers and scholars for centuries, but which still hides numerous enigmas today. Before proceeding, I ask you all to subscribe and comment with your opinion, or simply with an amen. Let's get back to us. But what surprising detail did Dr. Campbell discover that could confirm or deny the divine origin of the Shroud? Before revealing it, we invite you to follow us to stay updated on all the news regarding this extraordinary mystery. The Shroud of Turin, one of the most enigmatic and studied relics in history, is a linen cloth approximately 4.4 meters long and 1 meter and 10 centimeters wide, which bears the faded but clearly recognizable image of a man. This sacred linen has suffered numerous damages over the centuries, including burns caused by a devastating fire that occurred in 1532 in the Savoy Chapel in Chambéry. Despite structural damage and subsequent repairs by the Poor Clares, the details of the image remain intact and continue to baffle scholars. The shroud attracts the attention of believers and skeptics not only for its age, but also for the suggestive hypothesis that it could be the shroud of Jesus Christ, used to wrap his body after the crucifixion. Numerous scientific studies have attempted to explain the origin of the image imprinted on the fabric, but no theory has provided a definitive explanation, thus increasing the mystery surrounding this unique find. Historically, the shroud has not enjoyed universal acceptance, and debate over its authenticity has raged for centuries. Protestant theologian John Calvin, for example, rejected it as a forgery as early as the 16th century, profoundly influencing the position of most Protestant denominations, which have since tended to ignore the artifact. According to Calvin, the idea that there were multiple shrouds attributed to Christ in different European churches was a clear indication of forgery. However, Dr. Campbell criticized this attitude, comparing it to throwing the baby out with the bathwater. Although there are many medieval relics that have been revealed to be hoaxes, this does not mean that the shroud must necessarily be a fake. Furthermore, several historians and scholars have pointed out that the shroud has unique characteristics that distinguish it from any other relic. Campbell then turned his attention to the most revolutionary scientific discoveries regarding the shroud, in particular a seminal study conducted in 1978 by the STURP, Shroud of Turin Research Project research group, which analyzed the relic with the most advanced technologies available at the time, revealing details that continue to challenge modern scientific knowledge. In 1978, as part of an in-depth investigation of the Shroud of Turin, photographer Vernon Miller captured a series of high-definition images that revealed astonishing details that had previously gone unnoticed. The faded image imprinted on the linen was shown with impressive anatomical precision. The man's face was clearly distinguishable, as were the eyes, nose, lips, and even the traces of blood scattered on the cloth. Experts identified these stains as authentic human blood, confirming through chemical analysis the presence of hemoglobin and serum. The wounds visible on the figure imprinted on the shroud perfectly matched those of a man tortured and crucified according to the Roman method. One could distinguish signs compatible with systematic flagellation, lesions on the wrists and feet, and even evidence of a lateral wound, consistent with one inflicted by a spear, as narrated in the Gospels. But one of the most shocking elements was the presence of traces of blood around the head, suggesting the use of a crown of thorns, a unique detail compared to other crucifixion victims. The greatest mystery remained: how was the image formed? Dr. Campbell described the shroud as a photographic negative imprinted on linen cloth, a phenomenon scientifically inexplicable with medieval technological knowledge. The absence of pigments or traces of brushstrokes excluded the possibility of a pictorial work, raising even deeper questions about the nature of its origin. The shroud gained incredible notoriety in 1898, when Italian photographer Secondo Pia took the first photograph of the relic. While developing the plate, Pia made a shocking discovery. The image imprinted on the cloth was not only not a painting, but was a perfect negative. For the first time, in the contrasts of photography, the face of the man on the shroud emerged in all its extraordinary clarity and three-dimensionality. This event caused great astonishment in the academic and religious world, generating debates that continue to this day. Scholars began to wonder how an image with such characteristics could have formed on an ancient linen cloth without the use of modern technology. Some theologians and art historians linked the shroud to ancient biblical prophecies, in particular to the description of the suffering servant in the book of Isaiah. The prophetic text tells of a man whose face had been disfigured to the point that he did not even appear human, a description that many have found surprisingly consistent with the figure imprinted on the shroud. The association of this relic with the scriptures further increased the allure of the mystery, pushing scholars from various disciplines to investigate its possible connection with the Passion of Christ and with inexplicable events that may have left this extraordinary imprint. Another disconcerting element concerns the three-dimensional information contained in the image. In 1978, using NASA imaging technologies, scientists discovered that the image of the shroud is not a simple two-dimensional representation, but contains data on depth. Thanks to this information, it was possible to reconstruct the body with impressive precision. This detail makes the shroud an even more complex and fascinating enigma. No medieval artist could have created an image with these characteristics. The shroud also shows clear signs of wounds consistent with Roman crucifixion, including nail holes in the wrists and feet. In addition, the cloth shows clear signs of flagellation and bloodstains that match the evangelical descriptions of the Passion of Christ. Chemical tests confirmed that the blood was human, and the abnormal red color of the stains was explained by the high concentration of bilirubin, a pigment found in the blood of those who have suffered severe physical trauma. Radiocarbon dating conducted in 1988 suggested that the shroud was a medieval artifact, dated between 1260 and 1390. However, subsequent studies showed that the sample used for the test was contaminated by later restoration materials, thus altering the result. More recent analyses, including X-ray dating, indicate that the cloth may date to the 1st century AD, placing it squarely around the time of Jesus' crucifixion. Over the centuries, the shroud has continued to generate debate, study, and controversy. Many scientists believe that no known painting technique can explain the formation of the image. Some scholars hypothesize that the image was created by an intense emission of energy, perhaps a flash of light unknown to current science. This enigma continues to challenge our understanding and fascinate believers and skeptics alike, keeping alive the question: is the Shroud of Turin a human creation or a supernatural testimony?